Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mupo and Friends.
We are Jessilyn Persson.
And I'm Michele Mupo.
And we're brought to you by Mupo TV.
And you can catch all our shows at www.mupoentertainment.com.
And you can also live chat with us every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel during the premiere of each episode.
That's right. You got to tune in every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern because our live chats are rocking. And we have celebrities coming on there that you would never even imagine, and they will chat with you.
They sure do. Thank you for tuning into our show where we love bringing you awesome celebrities and entrepreneurs you want to know. So, Michele, did you have a Mupo awesome week?
I sure did have a Mupo awesome week. How about you?
Absolutely. I always have a Mupo awesome week.
Well, I'm in a very absolutely Mupo awesome mood right now because I am so excited about this guest we're about to have. And you know, it's one of those things that this is someone that I grew up, this is my era.
Watching?
Yeah, yes. I was going to say that, but yeah, I didn't want to reveal my age because, so everybody stay tuned and we'll be right back after this commercial break with our special guest.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mupo and Friends. Our special guest today is an actor, producer, writer, and life coach. At 17, he began his acting career with a role in Malibu Shores, followed by a role in both the TV movie and series of Sunset Beach and the classic TV series Beverly Hills 90210. He's also appeared as himself on several television shows, most notably the A&E reality series Sons of Hollywood. As a life coach, he offers private coaching sessions, group programs, and retreats to create confidence, a new career, financial growth, and true happiness. Please welcome Randy Spelling. Hi, Randy. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks.
Good. It's awesome to see you now. Yes. I know we're on a time frame and we started talking in the, backstage, but you went from an actor to a life coach. Was there a pivotal moment that actually made the decision, if you want to talk about it, or just tell everybody a little bit about what you do, because I think you've changed and you need to get out in front of everybody and everyone should do your programs.
Thank you for saying that. I'll give it to you in an abridged succession. So my pivotal moment was, I was always searching for my purpose. So I was born into a famous, wealthy, powerful Hollywood family. My dad was a producer, sister actress, and I was just searching for my place in the world. And I was always a pretty sensitive kid, highly intuitive, empathic, and searching for what is this life all about, and how can I help to make others happy. And so it made everything pretty confusing given the world that I was living in. So I went into acting. I went into the family business. I did really like it, but it just never felt like it was exactly my thing. You know, that feeling you get when it wasn't imposter syndrome, but it was, this fits okay. And I'll wear this suit if I have to, but it's not the best fit. It's not the best clothing I could wear. And so I moved on. And I think we were chatting about this before. I did go into the music business because I didn't just want to audition and put my career in other people's hands to choose me or not. There's a lot of judgment on, nepotism and being Aaron Spelling's son. And I felt it, right? I'm a sensitive person. I walk into the room, I could feel what everyone else is feeling. And I'm thinking, damn, they're really judging me right now. Some would tell me, oh, you're actually pretty good. You really surprised us. We thought you couldn't act. And that stayed with me. And I don't think I had that tough skin then to go, well, who cares? I'm just going to do whatever I want to do. I really took that to heart. And after a while, it became really nerve-wracking for me. So I went into the music industry, again, didn't find my exact place in the world. So I started filling myself with substances and different things. Again, just trying to find myself. And I didn't find a good way to deal with pain and hurts and things that I went through. And then it came to a culmination, right when my father passed away. About this in my book. And I just said, I don't know who can hear me, but the powers that be, if you can hear me, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to live like this. I know that there's more. I know. And around 20 to 22, 23, I had some really deep, sort of meditative experiences where I felt deeply connected. So I had that to draw upon, and I knew that there was more. There was this deeper spiritual world out there, but I was not finding it. I was not living it. So I begged, I said, please, if anyone can hear me, stop this, because I'm not going to take my own life here, but I don't want to do this anymore. And a few weeks later, I checked myself into rehab, got clean, and then started doing the self-work of who am I? Why am I here? What do I want to do? How do I want to walk on the planet? How do I want to interact with other people? And along that journey, I found life coaching, studied, and started working with people pro bono at first. And then I started to get paid clients, started to make a difference. People started to have these amazing sort of transformative experiences. And I said, I'm in the right place. This feels good. And I've been doing it ever since.
That's incredible. That's great. Randy, what do you mean by having to reverse engineer your life?
What I mean by that is I grew up, and I'm not saying that everyone wanted my life. That sounds so presumptuous, but I had money, I had fame, I had success. So these are things where a lot of us say in our minds, if I just had more money, I wouldn't feel this way. If I just had more time, I wouldn't feel stressed. I mean, all these things that the little dangling carrots that we tell ourselves. I had it, and I wasn't any happier. And I work with people who have money, fame, success. Of course, I work with people who don't have those yet, in their own way. And I can tell you that working with people from all over the world, all walks of life, happiness, fulfillment, feeling good on a daily basis really has little to do with the money that you have in the bank and the success you have. Sure, it affords more choices. Sure, you could do more things. But again, when you go to bed at night, when you wake up in the morning, that level of happiness, it's only a certain amount of money you get to, and everything after that, it doesn't really matter anymore. It becomes what's next? What's next? What's the next trip? What's the next extravagant thing I could do? What's next? What's next? Again, filling ourselves with outer things to try and get to an inner feeling.
Yeah, we were just talking about somebody that does that. So the thing is, so I happen to say, so tell us about your book, Unlimiting You, Step Out of Your Past and Actually Get into Your Purpose, and into the purpose, I should say.
Yep. Yeah.
Can you tell us about that? And because we would like to, that book had a lot of meaning.
Sure. So I wrote that book in 2014, right when my second daughter was born. And I peppered my story, my personal story, a lot through that. It's not a memoir, but I used myself as the protagonist to illustrate points that hopefully everyone can relate to in terms of mindset, in terms of the pitfalls that we all have. So when I talk about unlimiting you, it's all the ways, and I picked sort of the main ways that we keep ourselves limited, from thoughts and beliefs to, stories and narratives that we bought about ourselves that just isn't true, to ways of connecting to self and becoming a deeper, richer person. in all facets.
Cool. So who has influenced you in both your acting career and your career as a coach?
It's influenced me in terms of my acting career. Everyone that I've ever seen act that I liked. I mean, it sounds funny, but I grew up watching Beverly Hills 90210. I grew up watching TV. So I would say back then, the medium that I studied most was probably TV because I was in TV. But if I were to do it, to me, this is more interesting. So sorry for skewing off here, but if I were to hop back into the acting arena, I would study actors and actresses who are more character actors, someone who so deeply commits to a role that they become and embody that character. Because I find that really fascinating to essentially channel that other person. So I didn't have any great role models that I could tell you when I was acting, but now I would definitely, Meryl Streep is great. Daniel Day-Lewis is great. I do like Leonardo DiCaprio. God, so many. I like Kate Winslet.
Interesting. She's amazing in her latest show. We're going to take a quick break and we will be right back with Randy Spelling. And we're back. So we are back with Randy Spelling. And Randy, I have to ask you a question. What would be the best advice that you would give being a father to someone who has daughters?
I mean, always the golden rule, treat others the way that you want to be treated. Of course, no means no, and we talk about that a lot. I have 2 daughters, and even playing with each other, they get into this laughing, joking, stop. And then at some point it becomes, stop, I told you to stop, and someone blows up. And I always have to interject, listen, this is really important. It's always a teaching moment of, if you don't practice here in the household, there's no way to get good at that out in the real world. So being able to say no, being able to say stop, using your voice, standing up for what you believe in, and being able to fail. I probably don't teach them that enough and talk about it enough, but now that you've asked me, thanks for the reminder. I'm going to go get on this. I loved I think it was the creator of Spanx, and I'm blanking on her name right now, but she shared a story where she said, we would sit at the dinner table and my father would ask me, what did you fail at today? And the reason why is because it means that if she didn't fail at something, she didn't try anything new. And I love that have the courage to fail, because it means you'll go after what you want. You might not be good at it. It might be a stepping stone to get to another place, but have the courage to fail. And I think what I'm seeing is so many people, and I've been there too, frozen with indecision because they're afraid of the ramifications. They're afraid of failing. They're afraid of disappointing people. They're afraid of not looking a certain way. Or one of the biggest ones, they're afraid that failure will confirm a story that they bought into about themselves that they've felt not enough of in some way or some sort.
Yeah. Randy, how do we change FOMO to JOMO?
So fear of missing out. How do you change fear of missing out into joy of missing out? Conscious decision. So here's what I mean by that. FOMO is fear of missing out. When you're in fear of something, you haven't made a conscious decision yet. you're on the fence. You're like, I'm going to do that. I don't know. Maybe I should say yes. I don't know. This could be a big opportunity. There's still fear, right? The whole nature of FOMO, the first word is fear. If you're in fear, you're not going to be in a possibility mindset. You're not going to be in an opportunity expansion mindset. You're going to be in contraction. I'm scared that something's going to happen and I'm not going to be a part of that. That's not a conscious decision. That's fear. So let's break it down to something really simple. If someone invites you to a party or someone invites you out and it sounds kind of good, you're like, okay, I've been trapped in the house too long. I need to get out. I need to go socialize. But you just got over being sick, or you've had a headache, or you had a hard week at work, and something inside of you is saying, gosh, it would be so nice to sit home and read a book. It's really what you need most. As long as you make a conscious decision, I'm doing this, and here's why I'm doing this. If you have that level of clarity, that level of consciousness, then you could be joyful. I'm going to do this. And that experience of missing out becomes joyful because you're now conscious of why you're doing it. The problem is if you're not conscious of the decisions that you're making, you're going to make the decision and then you're going to play it over in your mind. And we've all been there, that rumination of, well, should I have done that? Then there's regret and your heart beats a little bit faster. Then you feel a bit anxious. And we have to stop the merry-go-round.
I love it.
I just do. I don't know why. And then I make mistakes all the time. And you know what? You're so right. And you're so on point with that. Now, I know you do retreats, which I'm dying to go to one. I'm being serious can you tell us a little bit about your retreats?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So because of COVID these days, what I've been doing is creating these custom experiences for people. So I'll have a 90-minute phone call with them before and figure out, what do you want? What are you looking for? What do you ultimately want to achieve? And then I'll tailor it, because some people want retreats and they're like, I want to spend a day or two with Randy. That sounds great. And it sounds transformative. But when they tell me all the things that they want to work on, right, and I want to change my level of anxiety and the stories in my head, and I just want to feel free. And I'm thinking, listen, I've had really good results with people, but I'm also a realist. A day or two of work is never going to trump 6 months or a year of work. So depending on where someone is at, I might suggest, hey, we can do a day or two together, but I think you really need 6 months of working together to ultimately get to your goal. And, my job is to partner with people to get their goals met. So I'm always going to steer people in the direction of what's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. But to answer your question, I will custom tailor something. So depending on the foods you like, we'll go to those restaurants. And depending on the things that you want to work on, maybe you need some strategy when it comes to changing a career or growing your business, we'll do that, but we'll do that in an environment where you also might need some better work-life balance, or you need to relax more. You need to learn how to decompress. So we can do that while we're walking in the forest, travel whiteboard, go over it and put a plan together. All we need is a pad. It doesn't need to be in a boardroom, right, where there's a conference table and it's me talking at you for 3 hours, where you're going to maybe retain 8% of that and go home and go, that was great. And I loved being with Randy and I feel lighter. I feel better. What do I do now?
Yeah, absolutely. So you said you've had near-death experiences. Can you tell us about those?
Did you say I've had near-death experiences?
Yeah.
So I don't remember I wasn't conscious of all the near-death experiences that I had. There was one in particular that I remember, but my drug and alcohol use took me to the point I was using a certain type of cocktail that was making me sort of pass out or lose consciousness. And, it was really crazy. I'd wake up and, the fire truck would be there and they'd be saying, Randy, sir, are you okay? And of course I have no recollection of the moments leading up to that. There was one time, and again, I talk about this in my book. There was one time where just a week before I ended up getting clean, I knew that I had already made the appointment to go into rehab. And I think this was very purposeful, is I left my body. I sort of lost consciousness and left my body and was looking down and couldn't get back in. And I was obviously really upset. Come on, I'm not ready yet. And then when I actually knew what was happening, it's sort of like I fought and I struggled. And at some point I let go and I just said, okay, I don't want this, but okay. And then the next thing I know, I came to and was back in my body, and it scared the heck out of me, but also made me realize if I don't stop, I am going to be gone. And it was a further moment of choice where I think that happened for me to make a conscious decision. Yeah, I don't want that. I want to be here. I'm still ready to do some stuff here on the planet.
Did your family like do an intervention with you?
Yeah, my family did an intervention with me when I was 23. I went into treatment, but I was 23. All my friends were going out to clubs and hanging out and drinking and partying. And I was young and I didn't know another way. So for me, even though I got treatment, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, I don't have a problem. I'm not going to stop. I'm not ready to stop yet. And the second time I went in, there was no intervention. It was me just saying, I don't want to live like this anymore. And because it was me saying it and doing it, I knew that I was at a crossroads where something had to change. So I was more invested in going and getting the result.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You did it. You wanted to do it. You can't be forced to do it,
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back. Because it's the third break.
Yep. And we're back with Randy. So Randy, what was it like working with your sister Tori on 90210? And was there any sibling acting rivalry growing up?
No, there was no rivalry at all. So I'll answer your second question first. I didn't want to act. So I didn't feel jealous. I didn't feel rivalry. I'm certain she didn't in terms of acting because I wasn't an actor. And when people would come up to me at rap parties and pinch my cheeks and go, "Oh, you're so cute. Are you going to be an actor?" And I would say, "No, I'm going to be a producer like my dad." Because I wanted to be a producer and be like my dad. I didn't want the attention. I didn't want to be in front of camera. It just never felt my way. So no rivalry growing up. And in terms of working with her, it was a lot of fun. That we're 5.5 years apart. So growing up, obviously, she was in a completely different stage of life than I was. So we definitely went at it at times. But when we got to the age where we started working together, we were friends. So it was fun. I was on a show called Malibu Shores and she guested on there. And it was a lot of fun. We were trying to do something kind of funny, which they cut out. But I said something like, "Oh, she's cute," as she walked by. And then in 90210, again, it was fun. We were friends. So it felt nice and natural.
Now you played volleyball, basketball, tennis.
I mean,
I know you
when I
skipped.
say I played, I didn't play that competitively. I played tennis competitively until I was 13.
You were great at
And I
tennis.
just liked those other sports, but playing might be up for interpretation there.
You were great at tennis. I actually saw you play tennis, and you know what? I remember
Really?
I did. And I remember skateboarding.
Yep, I did skateboard a little bit. And tennis, I was very consistent. I was tiny. So I was smaller than all the people on the court. I was really consistent. I'd always hit the ball back. I'd always hit it left and right. So I love tennis. But yeah, basketball, I didn't stand a chance.
In the years when acting was your main focus, was there a role or show that was a favorite of yours?
Um, I was a teenager, so I really liked, again, Beverly Hills 90210. I watched Melrose Place, all the nighttime soap operas. I watched Party of Five, Dawson's Creek, uh, all of those, and I did watch Friends a little bit. So all of those seemed like, oh, I'd love to be on any of those.
Yeah, I could just imagine you on all of them. But you know,
I did too. I did imagine myself on all of them, but never came to
and
fruition.
I really can. But you know what though? I'm glad that you're doing private coaching and group programs and retreats. And
Thank you.
believe me, I want you to tell everyone how can they get a hold of you and join this, and are get on the Randy Spelling bandwagon, because I really think you should.
Yeah, so to get a hold of me, easiest place is go to my website. It's randyspelling.com. I list a lot of my offerings. And if you know that you want to make changes, you know that, you need some help, but you don't know if you need a group program or a retreat or, working with me one-on-one, potentially, and just go and fill out one of my forms, and I'd be happy to steer you in the right place for next steps. And also social media is a great place to sort of have an introduction to my content and see what I'm about and what I do, what I put out in the world. And I'm pretty active on Instagram. That's at Randy Spelling.
Randy, I've watched several of your YouTubes and other things and something I heard you mention was you don't always want to do a video, but you do it because you know that's what's needed to go out there on social media. Can you give a tip to the audience on how they can push themselves that extra step to do what they need to do when they're not feeling like they want to be on camera, or that they want to, do it today, but it's kind of the right thing?
Yeah. So I've trained, I'll use this example. I've trained a lot of new coaches, help them grow their business, any sort of service-based business. I've helped them grow, scale. And obviously this comes up, right? Oh, I'm not good at videos. I don't know about social media content. And here's a great check-in for anyone to do. The thing that you need to do, but it might be hard for you. Think about the second you finish it. Think about you finish it, it's done. How do you feel? If you get a yes, oh, I would be exhilarated, or oh, I would get off that stage and I'd feel so proud of myself. I'd feel so good. Then that's the reverse engineering. That's what you need to do. What's the path of getting there? Because if you can connect to what it's like after the fact, most people go, I would love to do that. Yeah, I know I need to do more videos. In fact, once I do it, once I get over the initial nerves, embarrassment, I actually feel pretty good. I accomplished something. I'm proud of myself. Then that is what you have to do, but you have to focus on the end result. And for me, I don't always love hopping on camera. I mean, there are people who will do 50 stories in a day and they just love showing their perspective. But it's hard for me. I'm in the office a lot working with people. I can't really show myself working with other people. And then the other thing is, I can be somewhat introverted, and it serves me because I'm learning from every single conversation I have. So I have to have a certain amount of downtime where I'm reflective, I'm contemplative, I'm taking in all that is going on with the collective, with people, with my clients, with what people are going through, what people are going to be going through. I have to take all that in, disseminate that information, and then intuit, what do people most need this afternoon? What do people most need next week? What do people most need in 3 to 4 months, and create content as a result? So you have to find what works for you. But what gets me through is knowing, if I can get through the video, how will I feel when I'm done? And if I can connect to that feeling, often that is a rope that will pull me through.
That's great advice.
Yeah. So now what's next on the horizon for you?
What's next on the horizon? Okay, interesting you asked. So I'm creating something called High Vibe Tribe, which it's the first time I've ever done a membership program. I have all different ways of working together, from group programs that start at $297 for the program. And then I also have, it can be a year of VIP coaching where, we travel together, and that's $50K and up. But there's a whole spectrum in between. But it also breaks my heart when I talk to people and people are like, I can pay $30 extra. And I mean, there are people that literally comb their budgets and make really lean decisions and say, this is all that I have. So I wanted to create something that was a really low monthly price, where no one could say, or most people would say, I can do that. And then they will get some spot coaching. They have a beautiful tribe, a community of people. And the whole idea is a positive place to plug into. I'm giving exercises, I'm giving tools, I'm giving challenges. Each month, there's a different focus. I might bring on a guest speaker, but it's all geared toward, and a lot of times I don't share certain things on social media. So I don't always share what I do each and every day spiritually, and my habits and what keeps me going. I'm going to share that in this group. So I'm sort of giving a lot in this group to get people to make these changes if they can't afford some of the other ways to work together.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with the conclusion of Randy Spelling.
And we're back with Randy Spelling. So Randy, one final question for you. If you were to interview yourself, what question would you ask?
If I were to interview myself, I would ask what drives you? What keeps you going? What's the hardest part about doing what you do? What are you working on right now? What are the days where you feel imperfect? I'm a big fan of being relatable and not having the whole guru mentality of I have everything figured out. Because I'm learning like the rest of us, and I'm here to share my experiences and what I've gleaned in working with people over the last 14 years. But I certainly am not perfect, and I'm always working on my personal growth and evolution. So I would ask some of those questions, because all the other questions, they're great and they're insightful, but I don't know, that's some of the good stuff. Like, what are some of your favorite clients that you work with? Some of those stories, things like that.
Ready? Awesome. Thank you. It's been a pleasure visiting with you. Look for Randy in Beverly Hills 90210 on Paramount Plus. On his YouTube channel, Randy Spelling, you can follow, like, and subscribe to Randy on Facebook under @RandySpellingCoaching, @RandySpelling on Instagram, on Twitter @RandySpelling, and his website, randyspelling.com. As always, thank you for tuning into Mupo and Friends, courtesy of Mupo TV. You can catch our shows and others at www.mupoentertainment.com. That's www.mupoentertainment.com. This is Jessilyn Persson with our host, Michele Mupo. Until next time.
Have a Mupo awesome week.